The Los Angeles Coliseum, a place traveler calls home and the crowd loves to fight on when supporting the USC Trojans. A couple of teams trying to stake their claim to being among the best in the country in this top 25 showdown we have in store. As we'll see the number 19 team in the country, the California Golden Bears, taking on the third-ranked team in the land, the USC Trojans. Glad to have you with us for EA Sports College Football. I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack and Jesse Palmer with me in the booth. Guys, we are ready to tee it up. The Golden Bears will put total leather and we'll get started. And he's coming out of the end zone. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes and they'll stop him at the 16. Down here for the offense. The run to the right. And a pickup of 8 opens a world of opportunities on 2nd and 2.
Well, it's plays like that that'll help this offense stay in rhythm all game long. If you can have that kind of success on 1st down running the football, it just opens up your entire playbook moving forward.
8-yard pickup on 1st down leaves them with 2nd and short. They'll give it to the back. Got room at the 35. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
Man, I really love the way this guy looks when he's toting the rock. You think about all the high school kids out there who dream about one day donning a USC jersey and being the starting running back for the Trojans. There's so much competition, not just in the state of California, but nationally, to come to this school and be the guy, to be RB1. He's on the field for a reason. This guy is unique. He's got speed and vision. What a weapon.
They'll put it in play from the 41 on 1st down. To the ground, he's got it again. And they picked up 9 on 1st down. It'll bring up 2nd and short.
If you want to talk about making it easy for an offensive coordinator, you pick up a bunch of yards on 1st down, make that 2nd down really, really manageable. That's a great job by the offense.
Nine-yard pickup on 1st down, and now they can take a shot on 2nd and short. Looking for a crease to the left. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one.
And that play shows you really what this defense is about. It's a difficult one to attack. They're really good. One of the best in the country. They come at you from all angles. So I'm interested to watch. How do you mix up the play calling? How do you keep the defense off balance? Because they are a good one.
Just this side of midfield, the defense trying to rise up on 3rd and short from the 49. This quarterback part of their running game. The Trojans have enough for the 1st down. This drive has been exclusively on the ground. Could they be setting up a shot play? A run for the quarterback. And a good, solid pickup there before the defense knocks him down.
You know, we talk about quarterbacks having to make quick decisions, and I think you saw it on that play. Nobody opened downfield, and he just decided to take off.
They'll line up for a 2nd down play. Back to the ground game on the left. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
That's a really good stop by the defense. Jesse, they need a few more. You've given up a bunch of yards on this drive and a bunch of plays, but all that matters is keeping them off the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's that bend, don't break mentality you're seeing right now, and this is the point where this defense has just got to lock in.
Oh, he goes! He'll come through on third downs. He's got enough, and they'll mark it at the 23.
I think it's really important for this offense. They get this guy going early in the game. They're doing a nice job of that right now. Remember, he's the kind of running back who gets better as the game goes on. That's a really good omen for this offense, considering his success now early.
Quarterback keeper. A run up the middle is stuffed for no gain. And the Trojans want to move quickly. Linebackers moving, trying to confuse the quarterback. Early movement on the offense, and they'll push it back 5 yards. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. Play number 9 on this drive. Dialing up a second down pass play. Got out of trouble and throws. He's right on target. And he'll run out of bounds just short of the goal line. Wanted to get it in, but couldn't quite get home. Quarterback keeps it. And he sprints to the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans!
This defense has their hands full in this game because of what you saw right there. This quarterback is one of the fastest players in the entire country, and he runs one in. They're going to have to do a better job getting hats to him because they know they're going to see the QB run a lot today.
And he makes the extra point. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. They're lining up to kick it off, and he ought to be able to knock this one anywhere he wants after that extra 15 yards with the roughing the kicker. Not going to get a return here. They'll bring it out to the 25 as the kickoff sails through the back of the end zone. This crowd, full throat, spreading the eardrums and letting them know it's going to be a long day. Off the play fake on first down to throw. Going for a big play right off the bat. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception. And the senior just snatched the ball out of the air and gave it back to his offense.
Not the start this kid was looking for. Very first pass of the day gets picked off. This is a defense that's got a lot of ball hawks on the back end, and he's got to be real careful with his eyes, not telegraph throws like he did right there. He's going to have to settle in.
Hit hard just as he released it on first down and just couldn't get it to the receiver.
Nice job by the quarterback trying to buy time and scrambling to the right, but it was the hit that forced that incompletion.
Line getting set on second down. Quarterback touch pass on the jet sweep. A 6-yard pickup that leaves them with 3rd and 4.
All right, so not a home run play for the offense, but I do like the creativity, and I like how they're going to stress this defense and do it in less conventional ways.
Third and short here from the 35. Might take a shot here if this is 4-down territory. Wants to go up top. It's complete on the right side. And good blocking in space out there to give him enough room to pick up the first down.
Well, we know this guy is special, and because of that, his quarterback is looking to him on critical down and distances. There on that third down, there was no question. It wouldn't have mattered if he was single covered, double covered, man, zone. That's where he was going with it, and the big-time playmaker outside picks up the first.
The Trojans have it with a 1st and 10. Looking to move it through the air. Fires on the move. Into the hallelujah land. Touchdown, Southern Cal. They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point makes it 14-0. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. And they finish it off with a touchdown toss from the 23. The kickoff unit about to go to work. The ball bounces through the end zone, and it will be a touchback. Is headed back onto the field. Well, the good news about this drive, Jesse, it can't go worse than last time through a pick on the first play.
No, it certainly can't. I think one good way, David, to help your quarterback turn the page is just find him an easy completion here and let him get back into a rhythm.
Yeah, or find him an easy handoff. Just hand the football off, maybe get the ground game going, maybe jumpstart this offense a little bit.
Got stuffed on 1st down. It's 2nd and 10. On the option. At the 35, he's loose. And he put his foot in the ground and turned it upfield and turned it into a big play. Great decision to keep it.
Man, that dude just hits the gas and just goes. How nice is it as an offensive coordinator to have a quarterback that you can run just like a tailback? And you got a tailback in the backfield with him all the time, and he can throw so many options, but you just see the speed when he hits the gas, and it is really nice.
And he keeps it himself. A good decision there, and it gives this offense a 1st down.
At the 46-yard line. That's a 1st down for the offense. The end of the first quarter. USC 14, Cal 0.
Power football with the run. He tried to find some running room, but they get him stopped. Love seeing these early season top 25 matchups. You can get a really good feel of how good these teams are, guys.
And the intensity is going to be big too, David, because the players, you know, on these teams, they've been thinking about this game for a long time. They knew they'd have a national stage, and they got a chance to prove just how good they are.
Oh, man, make that statement. Make that early statement. We always look at the end of the season, and what does the committee say? Oh, they beat top 25 so-and-so. Here's your chance to put that on your resume that'll pay off big time and late in the season.
He makes the connection. He's brought down. Solid pickup, but a little bit short of the first down.
I tell you, this slot receiver, he really does give his quarterback a nice option. Runs really good routes. He's got nice hands, and you saw it on that last play.
Quarterback run is part of their game plan. And the defense has it. Everybody reverse skate.
Defensive coordinators always preach swatting and batting at the football, trying to punch it out, trying to dislodge the ball from... Boy, they did it right there.
And guys, USC has the ball back and sending the offense onto the field. They wanted to set the tone, strike quickly. Jesse, they've done exactly that, up 2 touchdowns.
And this quarterback has been dialed in, too. He's been so good reading coverage, going to where the open guy is with the football. And they've been up and down the field, David, so far.
And this defense needs to make something happen right now. You've already given up a couple touchdowns. Your offense has got nothing going. Still early in the game. Get a stop. Create some momentum for your offense.
Solid pickup of 4 on first down and 2nd and 6. Linebackers shuffling around, trying to keep the quarterback from getting a read. Movement here from the tight end. To the ground with the back. Brought to the ground, but not before getting enough for the first down. Pick up the first down on the ground like that, and it would make Sam Bam Cunningham proud.
All right, I'm going to need a little education. Give me some context on Sam Bam Cunningham.
He was a great, powerful, hard-nosed running back for some of those great Trojan teams of John McKay. Here comes the offense on 1st and 10 from the 47. Leaves it with the running back. And excellent vision to find running room there and make a really good pickup before the defense put a stop to it.
Every offense wants to be able to run the ball and be physical, especially on first down. And you want to create 2nd and short, 3rd and short, or just get first downs like that run right there.
And the Trojans have it with a 1st and 10. The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. Leaves it with the back. And they drag him down, but not before he picks up the first down.
First down, physicality wins football games. Being able to run the football, create balance, and right here just chews up another first down, gives you another chance to maybe continue to run the football.
And I feel like this guy, too, is just an explosive play waiting to happen. His vision, his quickness, and he's got a burst. If you give this guy just a crease, he's going to hit it. And right now, he's doing some damage on this defense.
They're getting this guy lathered up. At the 20, he's got space. And he runs it in for the score. Touchdown, USC. No midseason doldrums for these guys as they push out the lead in Week 6. There's a reason they call this dude a big playmaker. Moments just like that one.
Big-time playmaker. Can make plays all over the field from all different spots. That's why you got to find ways to give him touches as much as possible because he'll make it happen.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And with the extra point, they're up 21-0. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And he closed the deal by scooting 31 yards for the score. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive. Cal gets it back. The sturdy Golden Bear offense on its way to the field. They just haven't been able to get anything going, and they better get started or it's going to get away from them, David.
Yeah, and these are the weeks that you really wish that you were playing a video game and you could just reset the console, start over, Jesse, and make something better happen early.
It just looked like they're sleepwalking in this first half, and it's not just one guy. They just haven't been playing collectively as a unit. And if I'm the head coach, I'm considering starting to give some other dudes some chances here.
Tip ball, put it up for grabs, and I thought he had it, but somehow it slithered through his fingers.
Love the competitive nature by the defender on that play. That's just a 50-50 ball, and that defender swatted it away.
Try again on second down after the incompletion. Looking downfield, it's Newton. Firing to the right, complete. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain.
For a wide receiver screen to work, you've got to have better blocking out in front by other receivers, and they're just not physical enough at the point on that last play.
Now facing a 3rd and long. He's looking downfield to throw. And they took a shot on that one, but couldn't make the connection. It's incomplete.
Well, at this juncture in the game, with how the scoreboard looks, no question this offense is going to have to throw to get back in the game, and it's going to be tricky now because the defense is expecting it. You're going to throw into a lot of big zone coverages with everybody's eyes on the quarterback. Not going to be easy.
And the Golden Bears will line up to punt it away. This will be their first punt of the afternoon. A fairly short distance here toward the sidelines, not his best work. Trojan offense is ready to go back to work. That running game was impressive, taking them right down for a touchdown last. He's loose down the middle. Inside the 10. And he slipped through the crowd, and he'll house it. Touchdown, Trojan.
And to have a rushing touchdown of that type of yardage, you've got to be able to make something miss. It's one thing to get into the second level, but can you make that last defender miss? And you saw it on that play. Once he was in the clear, his speed, he was gone.
Almost ready to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. No reason to risk trying to field that one as it skips through the end zone. It'll be a touchback. The Cal offense is headed back onto the field. Last time, David, it was 1-2-3 kick.
The last drive, that 3 and out, sometimes that puts your defense in a bad spot, and you got to get a drive together here so you don't wear the defense out.
I just think, David, too predictable that last drive. They got to do something here to get this defense on their heels.
I'll tell you what, a few more runs like that, and defensively you start thinking more guys in the box, more big guys. I better stop this guy because he's unbelievable. Just a great job breaking off the big run, and the OC is going to give him the ball some more.
And runs like that are like body blows in a boxing match. 4, 5, 6-yard gains early turn into 20, 30, 40-yard gains later. They really wear down defenses, and they test their physicality.
We've made our way to the 2-minute warning, and now they'll try to at least cut a little something off of this lead before the break. And now on 2nd down for this offense. Everybody and their brother showing blitz. To throw, it's Newton. And he really needed to hold on to that one, but it was knocked loose, and 3rd down is coming. And now this offense will try to overcome that 2nd down incompletion. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. Fires into traffic, picked off. Just a short return, but that would have been icing on the cake. They've got it 1st down at the 42.
This is obviously not a great start for this quarterback here. 2 interceptions already in this game. He's got to do a much better job with his decision-making.
And guys, USC has the ball back and sending the offense onto the field. After that last explosive running play, David, why not just try it again, right?
I mean, why not? Such a big, long, explosive run. You think, Jesse, maybe give it to him again? Or do you say, hey, QB, bring that thing out there?
I think you keep it on the ground, David. Honestly, I was watching the offensive line. They were fired up after that long touchdown run. You know they just want to go back out there again and get some push.
They'll run play action. A shot toward the end zone. Fires it into traffic, and it's picked off. And the senior just took that one out of the air and sends it the other way.
And that's why as quarterbacks, you cannot telegraph the pass. You cannot stare down your receivers because these defenders, they're watching it. And that defender knew exactly where the QB was going with that football, and that's why he picked it off.
He wants to throw. Gonna take a shot. And he is finding wide open defenders all over the field. His 3rd interception of the day. After making the interception, he sets up his offense by running it back to the 39.
Have a day, young fella. 2 interceptions already? That's 3, 4, 5, 6 games for some people. A hot start, catching the football. He's acting like he's playing wide receiver out there. I might think about trying a different DB.
They'll try the run. Not a whole lot of progress made there on the short run.
You know, I think a big part of this isn't necessarily scoring a touchdown on that play, but you're just trying to get your offensive line in the rhythm of the game. Let those big fellas get lathered up.
After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line 2nd and 7. The give on the inside. Tackle is made, but not until he gets the 1st down. The Trojans want to crank the tempo. Might as well give it to him again. They finally get him on the ground with a big running play, moves the chains for the 1st down.
Right away after picking up the 1st down, they go right back to their playmaker at running back, and I love the push they got up front, getting a hat on a hat, opening a huge hole for the back.
And you become so hard to defend when you can run the football successfully on 1st down. You're starting like that. Now what opens up? Play action. Now you're making me play pass and run. This offense, if they can create that run physicality, now it opens up everything else.
Going to work on 2nd down in the red zone is still some ground to cover to pick up that 1st down. Touchdown Trojans! And they'll put that scoreboard operator to work and put 6 on the board. He'll try to tack on one more. And the extra point just tacks a little bit more onto this huge lead. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And the score comes on a 12-yard touchdown pass. The kickoff team on the field as they'll send this one away. And he passes on the touchback. Here he comes. I imagine he's going to get an earful on the sideline after bringing it out of the end zone and being knocked down at the 11. So let's see how they play it in this final 30 seconds of the first half. Going up top on first down. Looking to the big tight end. A beautifully placed ball to the outside and the toe drag for the big pickup.
This tight end is such a weapon.
And wait just a second. The official's going to take a second look at this one. And the play will stand after the replay booth just does a little double checking to make sure. Just a few seconds remaining here as they try to put something up before halftime. Wide receiver now comes in motion. Trying to find his man on first down. Feeling some heat. That one will be incomplete, and we are down to 10 seconds to go.
This defense is heating up. They got an interception the last possession. You could tell breaking on the football really, really well. Seeing where the quarterback's throwing it, going to try to get it. Got another hand on it. Almost had another interception.
To the air, it's Newton. He's going for it all. It is incomplete, and now there are 4 seconds remaining.
I feel like the defense is just living rent-free inside the quarterback's head right now. Of course, they got the pick last drive, and they almost got a pick right now. Right now, they are fooling this quarterback with pre-snap and post-snap looks. This quarterback doesn't know where to throw the ball.
On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. And the pressure gets to him. Down goes the quarterback. Referee signals timeout. It's the defense wanting to make sure that they have everything just right with a big play coming. Just enough time for one final play of the half. There's a timeout called as this offense tries to find a way to draw a little closer.
California.
The Golden Bears will punt it away on fourth down. This will be the... Oh, he's not punting, he's going to throw. He was able to come down with the pass, but not in bounds, so it'll be a turnover on downs. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update. The Trojans will kick it away to start the second half. He'll return it. He stopped short of the 20 at the 19 and probably wishes he'd just taken the touchback. Cal gets it back. The sturdy Golden Bear offense on its way to the field. Nothing went right in that first half, and the first order of business here. Try not to be embarrassed any further.
But the comeback is possible. Remember 2006, Michigan State down 35 to Northwestern at halftime? They somehow came back and won the game. But it all starts on one play, and that has to happen here on this first drive of the offense.
Yeah, the first possession, because your possessions, you're only going to get so many possessions, and you've got to score on every single one of them. Offense, defense, special teams have to play out of their mind, but they have to believe.
Looking to throw, it's Newton. Trying to get to it. Oh, so close to paying off the tip drill. He had it in his hands, but it falls incomplete.
All right, for this offensive line now, you've got to gear up. You've got to really start to hone in, understand that if you don't start playing better and you don't start giving this quarterback time, trailing in the second half, needing to throw, you're not going to have a chance to win.
On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. Caught near the sticks. It's Sparks. And he surges up to the 36-yard line, and they'll move the chains. And the Golden Bears getting set on 1st and 10. You want to make sure to maximize those types of runs, and he gets it out to the 41. Here comes the offense on 2nd down. Moving the running back, trying to get the D to tip its hand. A strong tackle and wrap-up from the junior.
I never know if it's grammatically correct to say a team is being out-physical. You hear it a lot in football, though. That's happening in this game. They are just not getting the push they need all game long up front to have any success when they decide to run it.
Grabbed over the middle. It's Akers. And he almost ran away from everybody on that one. A huge pickup on that play.
Man, this offense is so dangerous, Reese. They've got dudes all over the field that can make plays. There's a big gainer in the pass game.
You get a chunk of yards like that, now the defense is really on its heels. And a good, solid pickup before the defense cuts him down. Now on 2nd down. Looking to throw, it's Newton. Fires left. Complete downfield. And he'll take it in and house it. Touchdown, Golden Bears!
Love the thought process by the quarterback here on this play. Nobody open in the end zone. Find your check down. Find the running back. He does that, and once this guy's got the ball in his hands, he shows you that elusiveness and his ability to sniff out the end zone.
Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Guys, the big top 15 battle is underway, and it's been very interesting so far. Georgia is running away with this one, thanks to an offense that's been sicking them since the opening kickoff. They're up 14 over Florida State. Just another week of college football where we've come to expect the unexpected, fellas.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. And they'll get him on the ground as the offense comes out to start the next drive. Looking for a productive play on 1st down. Running to the left. Strong run on a pickup of 5 out to the 15. The Trojans moving quickly to the line. Rides to the back. Open space at the 25. They finally make the stop, but the big run is plenty to move those sticks for the 1st down.
And listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, I love teams that commit to the run, and when it's successful, keep running the rock.
Yeah, David, I think this offensive line right now, they've got a lather going. They're really sort of getting in the groove and flow of this game. They're just getting tremendous push at the point of attack. It seems like every single time they decide to run the ball.
Offense gets set for 2nd down. The give to the back. And the defense finally makes the stop after the sweet run and good gain.
Want to talk about a monster performance? This guy now has 150 yards rushing. The defense has had no answer for this guy, and he's shown you why he is such a weapon in this offense. Speed, the ability to catch the ball, the vision, the quickness. He's got all the tools in the toolbox.
And the Trojans are on the move. They go to the ground. And he doesn't find much running room. A short gain on the play.
Brings up second down.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. The give to the single back. What a good run there. He has enough for the first down.
And a great job by the offensive line. You're going to run the ball right up the middle. You better control the line of scrimmage. You can see the center, the guard, the tackle doing a good job getting on their guys just enough where this running back can get into space and make the big gain.
Slide 22. Slide, go!
Might as well run him until they stop him. He's got it again. A solid pickup there before the defense is able to make the stop.
41-yard line. Second down.
Got it.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5.
Down. Travel. Crash.
Going with the ground game left. Crosses the 30, he's got away. And he was loose and in the open field and on his way. A tremendous pickup on that one.
Well, on that one, they decide to attack the left outside on the ground. And you see the speed by the ball carrier there, Reese, picking up a huge chunk of yards.
I can't imagine any reason they wouldn't just run that play again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why not just go back to the well one more time?
Defense there to stop him after he picked up a yard. Ball's at the 17.
Brings up second down.
Ready.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9.
Easy.
Keeping it on the ground with the running back. And as they get him to the ground, clock running, looks as if time will expire here in the third.
That's the end of the third quarter of play. With the score, USC 35, Cal 7.
Okay, ready.
Really need to pick up this conversion and avoid having to settle for the field goal. Looking to move the chains. They throw it complete to the left. Touchdown, Southern Cal! And the punishment has been extended. With that score, it looks as if this bunch is about to go 6-1.
You know, quarterbacks and receivers, they develop confidence and chemistry as the game goes on. These two right now are definitely on the same page.
The kick is no
Oh, do you just hate to see it? Blew the extra point.
USC 41, Cal.
About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown.
Celtic kick it away.
From inside his own 15, looking for room. And the coverage team able to make the tackle.
Offense will take over. First and 10.
The Cal offense is headed back onto the field. Linebackers trying to create some confusion. They'll leave it with him. Tried to move that pile forward. He maybe gets 2. He's down at the 21.
At the 21-yard line. Second down.
Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. Goes to the option. Got to be smart, patient, great vision. Uses all of that to get to the 29.
Fullbacks, a.k.a. blocking backs, a.k.a. don't touch the football very often. And usually don't go far down the field, but nice little chunk run here for the fullback. Give him the ball, reward the big fella.
They'll try to muscle their way forward on 3rd and short from the 29. To the air, it's Newton. Quickly complete. And they wrap him up, but not before he's got enough for the first down.
Nice job by the running back, catching the football and understanding where the first down marker was. I got to go get that first down. He did a nice job of it.
The Golden Bears will snap it on 1st and 10. The option look. Nice move there. A confident, tough, efficient run. Gets it up to the 44. And here comes the offense on 2nd down.
29 Philly. 2-9 Philly.
He'll ride his man on the option. And a big hit at the end, but it didn't stop him from getting the first down.
Fullbacks are very unselfish. One of the most unselfish positions you can find in football. They block 99% of the time. But when you can give them that rock, get a first down, those guys are really big. You know, they're really powerful. They usually fall forward. No nonsense, no jukes, just hit you in the mouth.
And this junior quarterback shows you why the scouts love that big arm of his.
They pick up the first down on the drag route. Good job by the receiver knowing it was man coverage. If he's looking, he's booking. He gave his quarterback the eyes right away that says, hey, I'm not stopping. Put it out in front of me. I'm getting this first down.
Here comes the option. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple.
Well, that last play is basically a microcosm of what today has been like for this offense. Just nothing happening. Not physical enough at the point of attack. They're being swarmed. They haven't had the balance necessary to win this game, and that's why they find themselves trailing late.
Now the play fake. And he's lucky to get that one back. This junior quarterback knows better than to try that too often.
Got to give this defense credit, guys, because all game long they have forced their opponent to be one-dimensional. They haven't allowed anything to happen in the passing game. As a result, we're here in the 4th quarter. They barely allowed over 100 yards passing.
This will be the 8th play of the drive, but a great opportunity for the defense to get off the field. To the air, it's Newton getting some heat. Takes a hit as he fired. He took a hit as he threw it and couldn't deliver the football. It's incomplete and 4th down's coming.
Another hit on the quarterback. All day long, this defense has been able to pin their ears back and get after this guy. And because of that, he's never gotten into a rhythm throwing the football. And that's why they find themselves trailing here late in the 4th quarter.
Coach has no choice here. The offense has to stay on the field, down multiple possessions this late. 4th down attempt coming. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. He's got it, and they convert. Well, they just drained all of the suspense out of the 4th down conversion, moving the chains easily.
That's a great example of the receiver knowing exactly where the first down marker is. He got the depth he needed to get, so once he was able to make the catch, he already knew he had it. Now, a fresh set of downs.
Now inside the 20, 1st and 10 from the 18. From the red zone, looking for a man. Unloads it left. And he'll take it in for the touchdown. It won't have much impact on the outcome of the game, but it is a fabulous parting gift, a consolation prize, if you will. In a lot of losses, you just want to burn the tape. You don't want to watch it. But I think there are some things that they can take into next week from this performance.
No doubt. Offense is about finding your rhythm, finding your groove, what you do well. And you can tell, at least now, starting to get a little something going that maybe you can build on.
Okay, 2-point conversion attempt is on the way.
Belly stunner. Slogger. Acorn.
He'll set up to throw. Coming after it. And the quarterback is sacked. Big play by the defense that is probably going to be wiped out by that penalty flag. I think they jumped offside. They're down big, but they'll keep fighting to the bitter end and line up for the onside kick here. Looks as if the hands team will be able to recover. And the ball squirted out. Cal gets it back. The sturdy Golden Bear offense on its way to the field.
6-9-1, Gators score. Come on, set.
The secondary walks up on the line, showing press coverage. Give to the big fullback. At the 45 on his way. They make the stop, and this running game moves the chains as they get the first down.
The fullback. This takes me back to my days growing up, watching the fullback being on the field every single play. You don't see that anymore, but the big fella gets the football. Hey, he looks like he knew what to do with it, too. Nice little pickup, little agility, little speed, but mostly a lot of just girth and strength and just grown man.
2 minutes now left in this one, and time is running short if they want to find a way to pull this one out. Now on second down. Fast motion from the offense. Here's the handoff. They wrestle him to the ground, but he's got ready for a first down.
I think it's just too little too late, David, at this point. That's a play that they could have used a lot earlier in this game, but because of miscues, they're down by a lot late, and I don't think they're going to have enough time to claw back into this one.
Yeah, and I'm fine with you running that play if you want to do that. My goal now is with this lead, if you want to run it, so be it, but just don't give up the big plays. Let that clock continue to roll. Make him earn it all the way down the field and take a lot of time off that clock.
He's there to make the stop, but the damage has been done as they pick up the first down on the throw and catch.
Good enough for a first down.
Yep.
Now from inside the red zone. Receiver looks it in, it's complete. Touchdown, Cal! Made the snag and strolled his way into the end zone.
Nice pitch, nice catch, and listen, maybe this helps next game, right? Like we're trying to find a rhythm, find something that works, find somebody to go to, and this offense is struggling, and you're down by 1,000, but I like that they continue to fight.
How about this? These guys are going for two. Defense showing plenty of pre-snap movement of their own. Back to pass, it's Newton. They're bringing heat. He's got it in the end zone for the two as they trim more off of that lead. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And they finish it by firing one in from the 13 for the score. At this point, a comeback would take one of the biggest miracles in the history of the sport, but they'll line up for the onside kick. Not much drives more anxiety than waiting to see if the hands team can corral the onside kick, and they do. This Trojan offense is ready to go back to work. Boy, they have delighted these home fans here by putting this game in a hammerlock, David.
Yeah, this crowd's been jacked up. They've been excited. Now they get to breathe a little bit, Palmer. Nice lead. This offense needs to go out and protect.
Yeah, they've been the more physical team all game long, so let's just run the ball. Let's just ice this football game, take the W into the line.
The Trojans will hustle to the line. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Gets rid of it. The junior quarterback frustrated with himself after throwing it behind his man.
I'm a little bit surprised they're still throwing the football here this late in the game with this kind of lead. They're on first down, taking a shot, falls incomplete, but obviously they're still seeing matchups that they want to take advantage of in the back end of this defense, so they're letting it fly.
This time it's complete. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. The give to the back. He showed it all there. A little elusiveness, a little power, and he's got the first down. And they probably don't need to risk running a play here, but the head coach might want to rub it in just a little bit. They'll run it on first and goal. Touchdown USC! And the stomping has commenced. With that score, it looks as if this bunch is about to go 6-1. I don't think these two are going to be exchanging holiday greetings this year after this game.
No, and I tell you what, we've seen a lot of cool handshakes where you're getting fired up and coaches are getting after each other. We might look at a little bit of that there. You can take a knee, you can run the clock out, but they chose not to, so deal with it.
He wisely lets that one bounce through the back of the end zone, and they'll take over at the 25. The Cal offense is headed back onto the field. This one has pretty much been a bludgeoning, but they'll try to finish with something positive late.
Well, they ran into a buzzsaw today, and I don't think it would matter what type of X's and O's they're out there executing, David. Jimmy's and the Joes, they're just not as good as the opponent today.
And as an athlete, it sometimes hits you in the face and it stinks, but you're not good enough. And today they were not good enough. And I'm going to do the best I can to try to flush this down the toilet, not remember it, forget it, move on for the next game. Maybe something right here I can create positive that carries over to practice and maybe next week. And this defense has put a game together. Like, it is hard to put all the facets of defense together. Run defense, pass defense. They've been so good, man. Dialed in. You can tell they were ready. They were fast. They were physical. They dominated this football game.
And after this play, the cake will be baked. They'll throw again after the incompletion. And there was nowhere to go for this quarterback, and down he goes. Timeout is called with just a single second left. And here we go. Final play of the game right here. On 3rd and long, doesn't need to take the check down. He's going up top here late in the game. Last pass falls incomplete, and that's going to do it. So after stumbling around a bit earlier this season, they put together 3 consecutive wins and seem to have righted the ship.
Dang right. How do you handle adversity? Every coach talks about that. They've dealt with it now. They got the loss. They had a little bit of struggle early in the season. What do? You respond by putting a winning streak together, gaining some momentum as the season closes.
And sometimes the good thing about losing games early is that you know you're not perfect. You have to come out. You've got to bring your A game to the park each and every week. And that's what we've seen from this team now recently. They've got tremendous players. They've got an outstanding coaching staff. When they put it all together and they play with great effort, this team's tough to beat.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast team, I'm Reese Davis. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.